Yo, what it do? Actually, let's change it up. Welcome to my new series. A lot of people have been asking for tips, ideas, ways they can approach one-wheeling. Spell it out for beginners, they say. Give me something that even an expert could chew on. Okay, so this is my way of bringing that to you. I pieced something together for y'all, and I'm gonna bring you a bunch of these videos. This is the first of that series of videos. T is gonna introduce 5 tips for everyone.
This is 5 things that one wheeler needs to know.
Yes, sir. All right, number 1, take your time. Always take your time. The easiest way for one-wheelers to get hurt and hurt others is to rush. Look before you turn. Look before you accelerate. Take your time. Don't ride at a fast pace just because everyone else is. Ride at your own pace. Look how casually I cross this road. I have so much time to get across. Only do that, only cross when you have time. Take your time. Accelerate gently. No need to push hard to go fast. Nah, that's how you nosedive. Push gently. Feel the board out. If your board is surging, you're probably pushing too hard. Next up, we're going to talk about spatial awareness. Leave room for error. Minimize close calls. Leave space. Look at this. In the school area, kids could jump out, cars could turn out, pedestrians could turn out. The bus could just stop at any moment. I could run into a pothole. Leave space for errors. Look at this. Unexpected. Bam! Pedestrian right there. If you just flying through, maybe in between the cars, you might have never seen her. You know, on a road like this, perfect example. Looks totally clear, right? Now we see from the camera's perspective. I see from a lower perspective. And if you were rushing, bam, that guy might have popped out and walked across the street. You would have had to brake at the last minute. You don't want to do that. Minimize the room for errors. Now in a situation like this, when cars are all up in the road, and you need to get across, even though it's a green light for me, I'm not going to just rush out there. I'm still going to take my time and check, right? You got to take your time and check. Be sure of things. Don't assume. The one wheel doesn't stop as fast as it goes. Be sure, you know? So, per se, look at this. Now we talk about giving people space. I'm going to change the angle a little bit so you can see how much space Chase the Bird away. Look how much space there is between me and those people. When you leave room for error, even when things happen unexpectedly, it's easy for you to dodge it and avoid bad situations. But if you're making these close calls where you're passing 2 feet away from a foot away from someone, that ball could have rolled out and hit me, but look how far away I was. Even if it would have started rolling, I had time to brake or go around it. Animals are always super unpredictable. Look at this dog. It tries to get me at the last minute. Honestly, I didn't even notice it when I was riding, but the idea is I gave enough space so it wouldn't even matter. Look both ways. Perfect example. You think the skateboarder is going to stay on the left side? Nope, he went back to the right side. He or she. And good thing I took my time and gave them space to do whatever they need to do. And then I put myself on the far right-hand side in case there's someone else who's coming from behind me. Spatial awareness. Taking your time, leaving room for error. When people don't even react to you passing by, that's a beautiful thing. That means you're not causing too much commotion. You're laying low. Blind corners, proceed with caution. This is not one of the rules. I'm just following up on, spatial awareness. Look at that. You never know. A biker could be coming around that corner at 25 miles an hour on the wrong side. You should never assume. Once again, kids, always unpredictable. You don't ever assume that they're just going to walk in a straight line. You should never even assume people are going to walk in a straight line. This guy waved to me, so I'll wave back. You should always leave room for someone to just stop in the middle of the path. Turn left unexpectedly, because if you run into them, it's your fault. Number 3, practice on grass. Practice bailing, man. Crashing on grass. Get your first crash outs on grass, man. And speaking of which, let me take you to the place where I practiced crashing in the beginning. On the National Mall here in Washington, D.C., this glorious grass area. It's massive, man. I mean, when I first got my one wheel, I spent the first 3 weeks here riding intentionally like this and then crashing. That was an intentional nosedive. But if you're too scared to crash on the grass, You're probably not gonna like crashing on cement, you know? So go and mess around on some grass. Like intentionally ride. Look at this, I'm a flip off. I flipped off of the Onewheel. Yeah, that wasn't the most comfortable thing, but the idea is like, hey, you wanna get an idea of what crashes can feel like, what can happen when you crash. Test out what your board can and can't do. Clearly it didn't have enough power to do that, so you gotta push gently, you know? So look at this. Another rule of mine. If you are going at a speed where you wouldn't feel comfortable jumping off, you probably shouldn't go that fast. Because a crash is you unintentionally jumping off at speed. So yeah, ride at the speed you're comfortable at. Number 4, watch the terrain. Never assume it's flat. Spots change daily, man. These spots, look at that, something like that. If you're not paying attention and you're looking at the cars, you can hit that and get tossed off your board into traffic. This road didn't used to look like this. There's alleyways, there are cracks. Look at this, there's someone who's gonna be biking up the wrong side of the road, right? But I'm not gonna assume that this person is gonna ride on his side. I'm not gonna assume these cars aren't gonna turn on red. I'm not gonna assume you can't assume this stuff. When you look at the terrain, you always gotta be paying very close attention to the differences, like where it goes up and down. Like this spot's a perfect example. I was so accustomed to riding on this road that one day I was like looking at my phone or something, and the next thing you know, pow! I hit this crack going like 20. I flew like a good 15 feet across the street. I landed practically on the other side of the street. Somehow like baseball slid it out, but look how big that is. Like you can't ride that out if you hit that unexpectedly. But I hit it because I wasn't paying attention. I assumed the road was flat, man. Never assume the road is flat. The last rule, make a marvel. Sometimes it's best to take the road less traveled. Take the path less traveled, man. Go out of your way. Create space for yourself. But if you're riding in a way that scares everybody you're passing, you're doing it wrong. Unless your goal is to get Onewheels banned in your area, then by all means, man, go for it, you know? Who am I to tell you how to ride? But watch this stop. Look, I'm going at speed. This braking is so perfectly controlled and gentle. This lady sees me pulling up and doesn't even move out the way. Her husband doesn't know what's going on, so he backs up because he sees the long selfie stick. But she was chilling. She wasn't even bothered. And that's how controlled you want to be. You don't want to be all coming in hot towards people, carving all crazy. Make space. When it's crowded, take your time. Look at this. Even in a situation this ridiculous, let me show you, give you a better angle. If you take your time, things will open up, but you never know where people are gonna go. So leave room for error, take your time. Anyways, man, you know, I hope this helps. This is your boy, J Stock, still Onewheel wing, baby. Your friendly neighborhood Onewheeler. This is the first of many. Stay ready. I got more videos coming for y'all. Stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your folks. Log into my Patreon if you want to support making more of these videos. Support. It makes things possible for me so I can make things possible for you. Take it easy.